searches to find doctors in Los Angeles who could treat my symptoms, and I'd received a link to the ACAM website, and upon putting my zip code into that website, Dr. Lalazar was the first one that came up. And when I did a bunch more reading on her online, reading her patient testimonials and reading other people's reviews on other websites, everything about her was positive. I couldn't find anything negative about her anywhere, and it seemed like she could really help treat my symptoms. So when I first came to see Dr. Lalazar, I had gotten to a certain point with other doctors who had finally realized that I have hypothyroidism and adrenal fatigue, but nobody else seemed to be able to put any pieces together for me further than that point and explain how I ended up with being hypothyroid and how I got my adrenal fatigue. So when I came to see Dr. Lalazar, I told her the things that I had been taking that had seemed to help with my energy levels and my fatigue, and she was really open to hearing about that. And she was also really good at listening to how I felt, and I felt like she actually gave me like a sympathetic ear where some doctors have. So the biggest change for me is that, like, slowly over time, my body clock is shifting so that I can actually have a normal schedule and a normal life. So I have been blessed with being a musician and having late hours, and working in a bar at times and having late hours, but like I said before, like, there were jobs that I just didn't apply for because I knew I couldn't work a 9 to 5. I knew I wouldn't be able to function. And slowly over time, my body clock is moving so that a couple years ago I wanted to wake up at noon, then 11 a.m. became acceptable, then 10 a.m. is becoming acceptable. Some days even getting to work at 9 a.m. is acceptable, and it's actually possible now, when 5 years ago there's absolutely no way I could have worked at 9 a.m. So my boyfriend is the one who's seen the biggest change. He actually realizes that it's amazing that I can wake up with him at 8 or 9 in the morning on some weekend days and actually go have a fun, active day of being out in the sun and enjoying California, versus a lot of days, like even last summer, even 6 months ago, where if I forgot to take a supplement or a pill the day before, I would be asleep on the couch most of the next day. And he always said, well, you're just a sleepy girl. So he understood, but it's a really big difference that I can actually go enjoy. What I would want to say is that I feel like Dr. Lalazar is kind of like the saint doctor that you go to when other doctors haven't been enough, because I've experienced going to different doctors for the past 12 years, and some have told me I don't have any problems, some told me I have chronic fatigue syndrome, but there's nothing they can do. Some don't even seem to believe that you have bad symptoms if your lab work doesn't reflect it upon first glance. And she really listens and really understands where you're coming from, and it seems like there's actually hope for me, and along this journey I feel like I'm actually finally making progress. So I have no doubt that I will feel better at 20 or 30 than I did at 16 or 18.